The following is a paid advertisement. The views expressed are the sole responsibility of the advertiser.
I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate, how do you avoid probate when you own real estate? You need to know because you need to do it. Also, what is going on with interest rates? How about the values of your houses? What's happening next year? It's all just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate. Student loan debt have you spinning out of control? Call me today or visit youhavepower.com. Welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, with my attorney advice out the way. Any questions whatsoever during the program, the phone number will be right here on the screen, 407-205-0400. I'm very excited about this show. You'll see why here in just a moment, but first, the opening statement. Today on the program, we talk a little bit about avoiding probate with your real estate. What you might not know is if you own real estate and you die, it is very hard to transfer that property to someone else. And a lot of times your family members are going to fight. So if you own real estate, you're gonna wanna stay tuned in today to avoid how to avoid probate on that real estate. Also, I understand it's the holiday season. You're reading all these articles about the economy collapsing, the real estate market collapsing, a bunch of different questions that we're going to answer today. Number one, what's going on with the mortgage interest rates? Are they going to continue to go up, down? Are they going to continue to be volatile? What's going to happen next year? And also, how do the prices for real estate in Florida differ from the rest of the country? All great questions, and we're going to answer them by asking real questions. Every Saturday here on the program, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. First up today, our good buddy, Holly Kroll is here. Hello, Holly, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you again. And Dallas Lehman, our mortgage expert is here. Hello, Dallas, how are you?
Great to be back. Thanks, Justin.
Let's start with interest rates, if we could. Up,
Sure.
down. Last year at this time, we were at like 2.5%. Now we're 6.5%, 7%. What have you been seeing over the last week or two, especially since the midterm elections, when it comes to interest rates?
Well, I've got to tell you, I have had some encouraging news in the news. National Association of Realtors, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have spoken last week, and for the first time, we're starting to see those interest rates come down a little bit. So what does that mean? And I'm going to quote Fannie Freddie Mac. The bottom line is we've moved from, I'm going to say roughly nationally around 7.125, and now we've come back down a little bit toward the sixes, and that could be anywhere from 6.875 to maybe 6.75. So this is encouraging news as people go to the year end that may want to buy a home for investment purposes or move into their new home before the holidays.
I've been saying on this show for a while now that buyers are very scared to purchase right now. And what I want to be clear to you, if you're in that market for real estate right now as a buyer, if you should have been scared of anything, you should have been scared of a year ago or 2 years ago, because when you're out there trying to find a house for your family, it's like it was get in line. In fact, now is probably a better time to buy a house as a buyer than it was a year ago.
Absolutely.
Despite the rates going up, Dallas, and I think the old adage is, you buy a house, you date a rate. What is meant by that?
Well, what you really want to concern yourself with is a payment. The payment is going to be, that's what you have to live with, right? Once you get that interest rate, you don't remember what that was 5, 6, 7, 8 years into the mortgage, but you're never going to forget that payment. So right now, and here's what I like to tell everybody, nothing good happens by waiting. For example, if you're renting, all that money that you're spending on rent, you're never going to recoup it. So what is the best thing you can do for right now, anytime really, is to get a mortgage, buy that home now, lock yourself up into a good rate.
And when we say date the rate, it's because if rates do come down, obviously you can refinance down the road, but I've heard you talk on this show many times about buying that rate down. What does that mean exactly?
Well, that's one of the best things, and it really applies right now, Justin. That's a great point. For example, I'll use a very basic scenario. Let's say that I'm quoting a person, they say, well, let's get you locked into a 7% or a 6.875% rate. But before I do that, I always talk with my clients and I let them know you can buy that rate down. What is a buy down? For usually one discount point, and that's one percentage point of the loan amount, and it's in your closing cost, you can buy that rate down. So 7%, let's say you pay 1 discount point toward that rate. You may buy that rate down to approximately 6.5%. Now, as we were saying, date the rate. Great thing to do if you want to bring that rate down. And I've done that on the homes that I've purchased for myself, and I believe, Holly, you may have done the same thing.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't you take advantage? Even when rates were very low, take advantage of buying that rate down.
Yeah, totally agree. And Holly, we bring you in here for a second because you're a great agent. You've been in the trenches for a long time. You've seen the ups and the downs. You've certainly been around the last couple of years when who would have ever thought the market would have exploded like it had, like it did. What are you seeing right now as we sit here today in this real estate market?
I'm actually seeing really good things.
Yeah.
I would say last month there was a little bit of slowdown, a lot more excitement this month. We're seeing more listings come on the market, and people are not afraid that, yes, we're coming into the holiday season. They're not afraid to list their house. Again, with confidence that rates have gone down a little bit, people are thinking, okay, this is a good time to buy. They're not, I was hearing, oh, it's going to go to 8%, it's going to go to 9%. Well, we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
So why not just go in now? And like when I was talking to Dallas earlier, my first mortgage is at 9%.
Sure.
So 6.75 sounds pretty good to me.
Exactly.
So a year ago, 2 years ago, when you were working with a buyer, it was literally get in line, and there might be 20 or 30 offers within a day or two of a property being listed. How do you compare that to what we're seeing now as a buyer?
I absolutely love it because now we can negotiate like regular agents, where before, your buyer had one opportunity to see this house, a major investment. They would have to go in, in their allotted time slot and make a major decision. Now they can see it and maybe bring their family back a second time. We could work with the seller. We could work on dates. It's just so much better. And when Dallas talked about buying down a point, well, sometimes those sellers are willing to buy that point down. So really, it's a great situation for both sides.
And again, I've been telling buyers here who are getting scared off from going to buy right now that this is actually a much better time to buy than even a year ago. Despite the rates going up, you can refinance later. You actually have a chance right now. You can actually negotiate a little bit right now, whereas a year ago, nothing. There was no negotiating whatsoever. And then we hear, well, Justin, that there's been so many price reductions, which is a bad sign for the market. I don't think so. I think we're seeing price reductions because people got smart, and when they listed their house and talked to their agent, they're like, shoot for the stars. And why not? We didn't know where this market was going to plateau, so I think we had a lot of listings that were overpriced that are coming back down. Here's what I want to do. Let's take a quick break, okay? When we return, what is on the market right now? Holly will show us as You Have Real Estate continues. We have had not one hurricane, but 2 hurricanes over the last month and a week. You have roof problems. At the end of the day, you've seen some leaking in your roof, and it makes you very scared as a homeowner. This is your most valuable asset. What do you do? I'll tell you what to do. You call Universal Roof and Contracting. Our good buddies are here. I called you Nick the first time, and we still make fun of me for it. Corey is here.
I'm Corey.
And Justin, who I
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Forget that one, yeah.
Universal Roof and Contracting. Look, we have a lot of people coming down here right now. I call them hurricane or storm chasers. They are not trustworthy when it comes to doing your roof. Universal's been around for a long time, veteran owned. Why do I trust Universal?
Well, just that. 30 years. We're veteran owned, family owned. We are right here, just a couple of miles down the road. Also Jacksonville and over on the West Coast as well. And we're just serving the community, and we're licensed, we're insured, we're platinum certified contractors with Owens Corning, and we will give you an honest assessment of what's going on. If you have damage, if you don't have damage, if you've got life left on the roof, or if you need a new roof, we'll help you get taken care of.
Yeah, when I think Universal, I think family, I think veteran owned. You gave a veteran a roof the other day.
Yeah, it's an awesome project we're involved in every single year at this time. We build it up several months in advance, and on Veterans Day we do a live show, and we get to announce that winner and donate an entire roofing system free of charge to that veteran in need. So it's a wonderful project. We just got done wrapping that up.
How do I know it's time to call?
Well, right now because of the storm, it's important to just get your roof inspected. You don't know what's going on. Obviously, if you're seeing brown spots in the ceiling, if you're seeing shingles in the yard, if you're looking across the street and seeing your neighbor's yard or your neighbor's roof that's damaged, there's a good chance yours has got some problems as well. So we'll come out and do a free inspection, no cost to you.
I'm sure you guys have plenty of to-do right now. A lot of calls coming in, but you're going to be there in one day. Corey, Justin, always a pleasure to see you. Always. If you've noticed anything after the storm with your roof, call Universal Roof and Contracting today, the only place we call when it comes to roofing. back to the show, and a lot of you are wondering what you can buy right now, what can you afford right now, and we'd like to show off some current listings on this program that literally are on the market right now. Now, Holly, your focus is generally in Seminole County, not just Seminole, but you're well known in Seminole County, and you brought a couple of awesome listings here up in the Seminole County area. Talk to me about Brightview Drive.
Well, actually, what makes both of these listings so awesome is that they're both at very affordable prices. So really a wide range of people can buy into either one of these homes. 281 Brightview Drive is listed at $359,000. It's in Lake Mary in the Chase Grove subdivision, if anyone's familiar with that area. It's a 3-2. It's got that open floor plan, vaulted ceiling, so it just looks airy and bright. Spacious family room and kitchen. The master bathroom's just been renovated. It's got tile and laminate throughout. Lanai screened in. It's fully fenced. So it's just like the perfect house.
Yeah, I love it. And at that price point, you really can't beat that in Seminole County. And even with the rates, say, at 6-7%, your payment on that is going to be less than if you were to rent that exact same house.
100%.
And you're not just throwing the money away. And also, even a little bit of a lower price point here in Sanford. It's Lake Avenue. Where is this?
So Lake Avenue is in Sanford. It's a little bit just outside of the downtown Sanford area. This house has been fully renovated. It's a 3-1, but everything's new. The roof is brand new. The AC is new. You're going to take hot showers all the time because it's got a tankless water heater. It's got almost a 1/4 acre lot. So anything you want to do, if you want to put in a shed or something outside, you're able to do that. Like I mentioned before, it's close to downtown and really close to the 417, so accessibility is really good. So.
Sanford's growing. I mean, I was there Friday night. Sanford is going crazy right now.
Yeah,
they got to fix a little parking issue, I think. I drove around for a while Friday night.
They do.
But Sanford has a lot of great restaurants, a lot of great things to do. If you'd like to see either of these properties, I will connect you with Holly right now, 407-205-0400. So let's talk about the future a little bit. Let's talk about 2023. Believe it or not, we're almost done with 2022. It's hard to believe. Dallas, interest rates. I know you don't have your magic wand, but interest rates 2023. What do you think's going to happen?
You know, this market, the volatility is just a little crazy this time. But here's what you and I have talked about this so many times, Justin, and we've tried to look at year end before we've done the show for 4 or 5 years. If you had asked me this question about 2 weeks ago, I would have said, I think the rates are going to continue to climb. I'm watching what the Fed does. I'm watching what the economy does. All the leading economic indicators right now seem to, in my opinion, my professional opinion, I believe rates are going to stabilize and they're going to stay lower into the first quarter of next year in 2023.
Did the midterms have any effect on that, you think?
I think so, but I also think that the unemployment situation, those numbers are good. We talk about recession, we talk about all these things, but believe it or not, the real key issue is the economic data is in favor. That's why we saw that little tick downward this past week. But undoubtedly, yes, politics plays an angle, and you're right, it did have something to do with it.
Yeah, the greatest part about having Dallas on the show right now is if you want to start your house hunt right now this weekend, you're going to need to be pre-approved. He will answer your call right this moment, 407-205-0400. Holly, same question, but prices on real estate. What do you think? 2023 real estate prices?
Honestly, I'm not seeing the decreases. Before, yes, we had some people that were a little priced higher than they should have been, higher than the comps, but I'm really starting to see a lot of stabilization and the market where it should be in a more normalized, where it's just, a couple of percentage points per year that it goes up and, to what we're used to expecting.
Right. I mean, I think more than anything, we're in a healthier market now than we were a year ago.
Absolutely.
I understand it was great for sellers and their agents because, boom, you put a house on the market, pretty much name your price, and you don't have to do anything. But it was really bad for buyer's agents. I mean, we would have buyer's agents driving around their clients who are looking for their dream home, 20, 30 different offers and having none of them accepted. That was not healthy. It really was not a healthy balance. And quite honestly, what I'm seeing right now is it's still a seller's market. It's just buyers have a little bit more wiggle room to negotiate, but it's still more seller to me. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. We're still at a 3% or a 3-month inventory on homes in Central Florida. The norm is 6, so we're still low.
Absolutely. If you would like to see any real estate this weekend, especially in Seminole County, I know Holly would be happy to take that call from you right now. 407-205-0400. Dallas Lehman, same phone number if you need to get pre-approved. Great job, both of you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I played pickleball with him yesterday too, by the way. He's pretty good.
He's really good. He's the winner. Justin's good.
Here's what we're going to do. When we return, you own real estate. You're a little bit older. You don't want your kids fighting over the real estate. How do you avoid probate as you have real estate continues? You always hear all this talk about how going solar will lower your electricity bill, but your windows might be more important than solar. You have old windows, your electricity bill is going to skyrocket when you replace the windows. Guess what? It comes way down. There's one place to call when it comes to new windows, and that is Renewal by Anderson. Dan Brigman is here. Dan, always a pleasure. You're a family to us. But at Renewal by Anderson, you treat your customers like family as well.
We really do, and it's really all about, we're just passionate, Justin, about improving the place that homeowners like yourself and our listeners live. Yeah. And it's important to us, and it's our number one motto. How
do I know, though, it's time to call you to see about replacing my windows?
Well, that's a great question. I've always said we don't wake up every morning and do a window inspection, right? We're usually getting ready and getting the kids off to work, but really you got to look for key things. You got to look for windows that are leaking. You've got to look for air infiltration, that you can feel things coming around. You got to look for seal failure. That's when, and I'm not talking about decorations for Christmas. I'm talking about the foggy, right? And so, and you got single pane, and of course the big one, high energy bills.
It's huge. That makes a big difference. And when you think about no down payment, no payments for sometimes 18 months, low interest rates, there are times where getting new windows can actually be free when you compare it to the cost that you're saving on your electricity bill.
Almost more times than not.
Yeah.
And it's really like this. I mean, if you take the whole house and you take every window and line it up, that's a wall and a half of pure glass all around your house. So think about it. You got bad windows or a single pane, you're paying your energy company to heat the outside of your house. And you're right. By the time you do the investment in our promotions, they pay for themselves in 10 to 15 years' time.
Dan, always a pleasure to see you, buddy. Keep up the great work and do yourself a favor. Call Renewal by Anderson today. Free consultation. You won't regret it. Welcome back to the show. One of the questions I am most often asked by you is, Justin, I own real estate. What happens to my real estate after I die? And it's a very good question because I've seen so many families have horrible knockdown, drag-out fights when mom or dad die. The good news for you is there are things that you can do before death to make sure that these fights don't happen. Ways to avoid probate, as we would say. Attorney Scott Farnsworth is here. When it comes to avoiding probate, you are really the guy. Focusing on, welcome to the show, Scott.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you, bud.
Good to be here.
When it comes to avoiding probate with real estate, what are some of the things that I can do to make sure that real estate doesn't go through probate?
Well, obviously you have to do something before you're dead.
Right.
So that's the key thing. Don't wait too long. There are several deed options that one might think about if they were going to do this. If you're a married couple, if you don't already, you probably should own the property as a married couple. In Florida, that means tenants by the entirety, and that means it goes to the survivor if one of you dies. Mm-hmm. Now that's a great solution, but it's obviously only a half solution because eventually both of you will die.
Right.
And then we've got to address the issue full force. So one of the things that I've observed is that Florida doesn't have many options. I'm licensed in other states, and they have other alternatives to passing the title to the property without going through the court system. In Florida, there is not another option. If you have a piece of property, whether it's your house or any other piece of land, and you die and you haven't done some pre-planning, then you will go to probate. Your family will end up going through that process.
Right.
And that's usually pretty ugly. Takes 6 to 12 months. The minimum fee is probably going to be $3,000, even if that's all you have is a house. So it's not going to be a pretty picture. My worst experience is when that time drags out and people get impatient with each other. Now they start sort of going for each other's eyes, and that's always an ugly scene. So what can you do besides having a married couple owning a property together? You want to think about getting the title so it transfers automatically without going to the court. You don't need the judge for this to happen. Now, every state has a type of deed known as a life estate deed. Life estate is pretty basic. I own the property. I want you to get it when I die. I do a deed that says I own it while I'm alive. You get it as soon as I die. The problem with the life estate deed is that when I do that, I've tied my hands, because I can't do anything with that property without your joining in the transaction. If I decide I need to downsize, I want to move somewhere else, I want to sell the house, you've got to be in on the deal. If I decide I want to refinance, take out a reverse mortgage or do anything with the property, I can't do that unless you concur and you participate in the process. So I almost never do a life estate deed because my clients don't want to tie their hands. They want to be in charge. That's very normal. Fortunately, Florida has this most unique kind of deed. It has a quirky nickname. It's called a ladybird deed. Now, the reason it has the ladybird deed nickname is because it has a long technical name that nobody seems to be able to remember. Okay, even I don't even know how to say it. So the ladybird deed exists in 5 states. So we have Florida, Texas, Michigan, West Virginia, and Vermont. Okay, so the nickname comes from Lady Bird Johnson. After the Johnsons finished their thing in Washington, they came back. LBJ died. Lady Bird is doing her planning. She discovers this deed. It's a fantastic deed for many family situations. And so she's using it, and people start referring to it as, you know, the deed that Lady Bird Johnson used, you know, the Lady Bird Johnson deed, you know, eventually it became the Lady Bird deed. So Lady Bird deeds are similar to, but essentially different in a key way from the life estate deed. The difference is that when I do a Lady Bird deed, so I want you to get the property when I'm dead, but I want to have all the power. I want to have all the chips in my favor. So with the Lady Bird deed, if I decide to sell the house, you can't stop me. I don't need your signature on the deed. If I decide to refinance, you're not part of the picture. If I decide I want to lease or do anything else, even if I decide I don't like the way you part your hair and you're not going to get the house after all because you ticked me off, I can take it back. It's the only deed I know of where you can actually take it back and start over or give it to somebody else. So in terms of a powerful tool that leaves the original owner in control, avoids probate. Now here's the other thing I didn't mention enough. When I die, if you're still on the deed, you get the property instantly. There's no probate. There's no court process. The only thing you would literally have to do is take my death certificate to the deed records and record it to show that now I'm dead, now it belongs to you. So it's a super easy way to get property transferred down to the next generation.
For the majority of states that don't allow ladybird deeds, what is their argument? What is the argument against them? It seems like such a great tool.
To me, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense at all.
None.
Some are actually creating something similar to that. They're not calling it that. So I think we're going to see more and more states kind of moving in that direction.
You would think so.
But, you know, that's their problem, not ours.
When you meet with a new family that has investment property, so you know, they have 3 or 4 different rental properties, what are some tools that you use with investment properties to avoid probate?
Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. With investment properties, one of their big concerns is not about probate, but it's about liability. Okay? So if you're facing possible liability, and we never know where that's going to come from, 2 major directions. Some people will create an LLC, a limited liability company. That makes it so that if something disastrous happens on the property, they might lose the property, but they're not going to lose the rest of their assets.
Right.
Well, then you get into the question, okay, I've got 3 rental properties. Do I need 3 LLCs? Well, to be totally safe, you probably would, because if you have them all bundled in a single LLC, something happens on one of them, they could take not only that one, but the other 2.
Sure.
So if people are going to go the LLC route, then they probably have an LLC for each rental property. Those LLC rights are owned by themselves. If they had that kind of assets, we'd probably have them in a trust, and we'd have it set up so that those LLC rights will transfer into the trust when they pass away. The other direction is that people get a significant umbrella policy. So they have their homeowners, they have their automobile, if they have some other business, they have coverage there, but then they have this overarching insurance policy if liability exceeds what they have on the individual coverages, than the umbrella. It's simpler. In many cases, people find that they just like the simplicity of writing a check. Umbrella policies are ridiculously cheap in most instances.
Yeah.
So that would be how I would recommend that they handle those properties.
And it all seems probably complicated to you when you think about it. How am I going to deal with all of this? I just want to bury my head in the sand and deal with it some other time. The great thing with Scott is he allows you to come into his office for a full hour, and it costs you nothing. He's going to sit there with you for an hour. All the prices are right there. There's no bait and switch. It's all a flat fee. And the feeling that you have when you know that your family is protected, you know exactly what's going to happen after you die, is the way you feel, the amount of stress relief that you feel is really can be overwhelming. Do yourself a favor, call Scott today, 407-205-0400. You will not regret making that call. Scott, buddy, what a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. We're going to do this again soon. I feel like there's so many other things we could touch on. Thank you. Thank you to all of our guests today, Dallas Lehman, Holly Kroll. You did excellent as always. Most importantly, thank you for joining me here every single weekend for You Have Real Estate. Any questions at all, 407-205-0400. Dallas Lehman is there to get you pre-approved. Maybe you want to sell your house. I would show it off on this show for you, absolutely free. I'm attorney Justin Clark, and I'll see you next week for more You Have Real Estate.
You can be an agent that struggles to get ahead in the competitive real estate world, or you can learn from the best and achieve success. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com and sign up for the Jumpstart program. Get coaching tips and important tools that will help you jumpstart your real estate career. Sign up today and get 10% off your Jumpstart program when you use code word LEARN. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com today and gain the real estate knowledge you need to succeed.
Hi, my name is Dallas Lehman, president of You Have Mortgage. Everyone knows rates are rising, but did you know Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac remind us historically 30-year fixed rates have averaged around 8%, meaning current rates remain low. One of the best hedges against inflation and protecting your money while retirement accounts plummet is home ownership with safer equity. Rent continues to skyrocket as Realtor.com reports an average of 19.3% increase year over year and climbing. In most cases, it is still cheaper to own. And finally, there are a number of excellent loan programs available so you don't lose another dollar or throw your hard-earned money away on rent. Call me today and let's tailor a winning solution for you to own your home. Your Under One Roof team is always here for you.
Do you want to feature your home for free on our show? My name is Vivian Lehman with You Have Realty, and we've come up with a comprehensive marketing strategy to get your home sold quickly. Whether buying or selling, we have all the resources for your real estate transaction: builder, insurance, title, mortgage, and we might even know Justin Clark. All under one roof. Call us at 407-205-0400.
The proceeding was a paid advertisement. The views expressed were the sole responsibility of the advertiser.